animals.
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 Yeah.
Animals. And a horsey and pigs. And cows. And cows.
Donkeys.
And donkeys. I live.
Right.
But it's not ban live export, Baba.
Ban live export.
We are here today to show that the vegan movement is a movement of peace and respect, kindness and justice for all beings. We don't discriminate. We respect all beings equally. We treat them all the way that we would want to be treated. That means we don't send them to slaughterhouses. We don't use and abuse. We don't take their skins off their bodies. We don't needlessly kill because we get every essential nutrient we need in a plant-based diet. Documentary is the most powerful documentary, in my opinion, ever to come out of Australia. It shows the harrowing view and the real life reality of what is happening inside factory farms, slaughterhouses, free-range facilities all over Australia. It is a disgrace that we creating a world where we respect all beings. That is what we need. That is what tonight's about. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for being here. For those that want to speak up for themselves.
We're going to see the sun, and this life will never be the same again.
And we're encouraging the world to feel this. We're encouraging the world to take our message, and it's happening. Let today be an example of that.
For a while, the focus was on saving individual lives. It was an incredible feeling watching a hen who had been confined to a tiny wire cage for a year, taking her first steps on grass, sunlight touching her wings for the first time. I printed out a photo of 30 young turkeys exploring their new sanctuary home, my first ever rescue, and I put it on my wall to remind myself of that day and that feeling. I turned to that friend and said, we're going to shut this place down. And we did. But by the time the last pigs left those sheds, by the time the last pigs left those sheds, we realised that it was only one of hundreds of practically identical pig farms around the country, trying to understand and uncover all of it in the hope that by doing so, we could stop it. We learned what we had to learn, how to use cameras, how to edit footage, how to hide an entire DVR and miniature about who to save, but whose story to tell, whose suffering would not be entirely meaningless. Each farm or slaughterhouse warranted a documentary of its own. We are faced daily with a world that doesn't seem to care, that doesn't seem to want to know. It is so easy to lose hope, to lose faith in humanity, to feel overwhelmed by the sheer scale and horror of what our species is so readily capable of doing for such little purpose. To feel alone and isolated. But when you stand on the right side of history, you are never alone.
The first time, I looked up amazed by all the stars in the sky. I could hear the screaming mothers from the sheds from over a kilometre away. The smell of death and screams got more and more intense the closer I got to the farm. This wasn't a farm, this was hell. Row after row of torture chambers, I think I counted over 200 in that shed alone. Trapped mothers unable to turn around or take more than a couple steps forward. What scarred my mind from that night is the piglet in the walkway of one of the sheds that was slammed against the concrete by a worker because they were deemed unprofitable. The concrete next to their body was stained with blood. Their bodies stone cold. Crouched down by the piglet, I looked up and made eye contact with the mother pigs who witnessed the piglet being slammed against the concrete. The sadness in their eyes can't be put into words. We force them to be pregnant. We force them to watch their babies being slammed into the ground. We cut their tails off. We castrate them. We cut their teeth out with our painkillers. We force them into torture chambers. We gas them, and then we finally end their life with a knife in their throat. How can we claim to be animal lovers? How can
gorgeous, gentle, fighting for our attention, suckling on our claws and our fingers, desperate for the love of their mother. First, I resisted their affection, for the same reason that I felt guilt afterwards for accepting it, because in only a few hours, they would suffer the ultimate betrayal from one of my own kind. Every time we met the calves, it meant returning the next night to be greeted by the devastating sight of empty pens. After we retrieved the cameras the following night, we returned home to watch the footage from the kill room. Their curious, innocent faces frozen in time as a steel bolt smashed through their newborn skulls. Every day after leaving them behind and knowing their horrific fate, I had to constantly remind myself that their story was crucial if we were to help millions of others. The investigation climaxed in a
few months later, I wanted to see if what I'd seen on YouTube and the internet was a reality in the country I'm from. I started visiting factory farms and immediately realised that everything I hoped was not real is very much the reality of the vast majority of animals in Australia. I visited a pig farm one day and I remember going into the south stalls and, no, not the south stalls, the farrowing crates, and there's a huge mother pig stuck, to the point where she cannot even turn around or even turn around halfway, literally stuck lying there, only able to stand up and get back down again. Her babies all around her fighting for her milk. And there was one piglet who wasn't able to do that. She was lying there squirming and squealing in the faintest little screams. She was clearly suffering, foaming at the mouth. And I looked at her and my heart broke. And I looked up and realized there's so many just like her right here in this room.
Superiority, a belief that we as humans have the right to exercise power, authority and dominion over those we deem inferior to ourselves for our own short-sighted ends.
Today we march together, thousands of us, the largest march of its kind in Australian history, to say that enough is enough.
Just got back from the Dominion March, guys. It was an amazing turnout. 2,500 people turned up. That is incredible. The streets were blocked off, like crazy streets were blocked off. There was so many people. There was chanting. It was just amazing. They stopped in the middle and they had this massive screens where they were showing the Dominion documentary. It was incredible, and the speeches were fantastic as well. It was such a good turnout. I'm so glad we went. We did leave a little bit early than we wanted to because Olive was so tired and it was a long day, so we just left. But we felt that we contributed as much as we could, so that's the main thing. My footage is probably not like that fantastic because we were right at the back. So I'm really excited to see like the big names like Joey Cardstrong and that get footage of it, and you know, others. So yeah, so I will link all the documentaries that are about this march up in my videos as well, so you can check them out. There might be heaps better footage, but it was a great turnout. So thank you so much for watching and your support through this, guys. I really appreciate it. I know some of you aren't vegan, and you know, we'll turn a bit of a blind eye to it because it is what it is. But thank you for supporting me on this YouTube journey though. So if you haven't already, please do hit the subscribe button. Thumbs up if you like the vlog and the march. Yeah, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye guys.